All right, let's talk about something that pretty much connects all of us in this crazy, fast-paced world we live in, and that's stress. I mean, it can feel so overwhelming, right? But here's the thing. What if I told you managing stress isn't some secret you're born with? It's a skill, and just like any other skill, you can totally learn it. So if you're feeling that pressure just building and building, first things first, take a breath. Seriously, because you are absolutely not alone in this. Look, some stress is just part of being human. It's totally normal. But that constant, grinding, chronic stress a lot of us are dealing with, yeah, that takes a real toll. So let's be clear, the goal isn't to get rid of stress completely, because that's impossible. The real goal is to build up our own personal toolkit so we can handle it.
And that is exactly what we're going to do right here, right now. We're going to build your personal stress management toolkit. We're talking practical, science-backed strategies you can actually use to calm your body down, shift your mindset, and, build that long-term resilience.
Okay, first up, before we can manage this thing, we've got to understand it, right? So let's pull back the curtain a bit. What is actually going on inside your body and your brain when you start to feel that stress creeping in? And this is a super important point right here. See, not all stress is bad for you. That acute stress on the left, that's actually helpful. It's that little jolt that gives you the focus to ace a job interview or hit a deadline. The real villain here is chronic stress. That's when your body's internal alarm system gets jammed in the on position, and you just never get a break.
And that alarm system has a name, the fight, flight, freeze response. It's this primitive, automatic thing hardwired into us. The moment your brain even thinks there's a threat, and look, it doesn't care if it's a tiger or just a really stressful email, it hits the panic button. It floods your system with hormones like adrenaline and cortisol to get you ready to fight or run. It's an ancient survival tool, which is great, until it's not.
And here's the big problem with that system being on all the time. When you're in that chronic stress mode, it literally starts to shut down the most evolved parts of your brain. Your prefrontal cortex, the part you need for clear thinking, for problem solving, for concentrating, it just kind of goes offline. How crazy is that? The very thing you need to solve your stress gets hijacked by your stress. So, the million-dollar question is, how do we shut that alarm off? How do we tell our body, hey, it's okay, we're not being chased by a tiger? Well, let's get into the first set of tools for your toolkit. These are the ones for calming your body right here in the moment. Okay, tool number one is maybe the most powerful and honestly the most overlooked one you have. It's your breath. And no, this isn't some fluffy, just relax advice. This is a straight-up biological hack. When you breathe deeply and slowly, you're actually stimulating something called the vagus nerve. Think of it like a direct phone line from your lungs to your brain that literally sends the message, hey, stand down, everything is okay, we can chill out now. So here's a super simple but incredibly effective way to do it. It's called box breathing, and I'm not kidding, Navy SEALs use this to stay calm in the most high-stakes situations you can imagine. The magic is in the even rhythm. You know what? Let's just try one cycle together right now. Go ahead and do it with me, okay? So inhale for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now just hold it for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, exhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And hold at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Simple, right? All right, here's another great one. It's called 4-7-8 breathing. Now, you'll notice the big difference here is that really long exhale. That's the secret sauce. A long, slow exhale is one of the fastest ways to hit the brakes on your stress response and physically bring your heart rate down. It's like a reset button for your nervous system. Okay, moving on to another amazing tool for the body. It's called progressive muscle relaxation, or PMR for short. Think about where you hold your stress. Is it in your shoulders, your jaw? For most of us, stress isn't just in our heads, it's physically stored in our muscles. What PMR does is it teaches you to notice that tension by first making it worse, tensing a muscle, and then completely letting it go. It's all about learning the difference between tense and relaxed. And if you're wondering, does this stuff actually work? Well, take a look at this. 40%. That's the potential drop in anxiety levels that researchers have seen in studies on PMR. That is huge. We're not just talking about feeling a little less tense. We're talking about a significant, measurable impact on anxiety. All right, so we've got some powerful tools for the body. Now, let's switch gears and work on the mind. Because let's be honest, so much of our stress comes from the stories we tell ourselves about what's happening. And this quote really nails it. Stress isn't just what happens to you. It's about how you interpret what happens to you. This is such an empowering idea because it means you're not just a victim of your circumstances. You have some control. If you can change your thoughts, you can actually change your stress level.
So what do these unhelpful thoughts look like? Well, psychologists call them cognitive distortions, which is just a fancy way of saying thinking traps. And they make stress way, way worse. I mean, take a look at this list. Catastrophizing, going straight to the worst-case scenario. All or nothing thinking, where it's either perfect or a total failure. I bet at least one of these sounds familiar, right? Just noticing when you're falling into one of these traps is a total game changer.
And this is where something like mindfulness meditation can be so incredibly helpful. A lot of people think it's about clearing your mind and having zero thoughts, which is impossible. That's not it at all. Mindfulness is about learning to just watch your thoughts, to observe them without getting all tangled up in them. It creates this little bit of space between you and your thoughts. And in that space, you find you have a choice in how you react.
And again, the research on this is just so compelling. Look at these numbers. We're seeing a huge drop, almost 40%, in how much anxiety people feel. But it's not just a feeling. It also leads to a 23% drop in actual cortisol levels. That's the physical stress hormone floating around in your body. So it works on both your mind and your body.
Okay, so the in-the-moment tools are absolutely crucial for putting out fires. But if you want to be fireproof in the long run, you've got to build a strong foundation. And that comes down to our daily lifestyle choices, the stuff we do every day that makes us either more resilient or, honestly, more fragile.
And that foundation really rests on these 4 pillars. Think of them as your non-negotiables: physical exercise, good sleep, solid nutrition, and real social connection. When you're consistently taking care of these 4 things, you just have a much bigger capacity to handle stress. It's like you're starting each day with a full tank of gas.
Let's talk about exercise, because it is basically a magic bullet for stress. It's incredible. It physically burns off stress hormones like cortisol, and at the same time, it releases endorphins, which are your brain's own natural feel-good chemicals. And you don't have to become some super athlete. Seriously, just 20 or 30 minutes of getting your heart rate up makes a massive difference.
And of course, what you eat plays a huge role. You're literally building your body and brain out of the food you consume. Things like leafy greens and fatty fish give your nervous system the raw materials it needs to stay calm. And on the other hand, a ton of sugar or caffeine, that can actually put your body into a state that feels exactly like anxiety. It's like pouring gasoline on the fire.
Whew. Okay, we've covered a ton of ground here, right? We've got tools for your body, tools for your mind, and foundational tools for your lifestyle. Now for the most important part, putting it all together into a plan that actually fits your life.
And listen, the absolute biggest takeaway here is this. Please do not try to do all of this at once. You'll just get overwhelmed. The goal is to start small. Just pick one thing from this entire toolkit, just one. Maybe it's doing that box breathing for 2 minutes in the morning. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk at lunch. The key is consistency, not perfection. A little bit every day is way better than a lot once a month.
Because at the end of the day, this isn't about creating a life with no stress. It's about knowing, deep down, that you have the tools to handle whatever comes your way. It's about building confidence. So what's it going to be? What's the very first tool you're going to put in your toolkit starting today? Pick one, because that one small choice is the first step toward fundamentally changing your relationship with stress.